Hey, let me ask you, is Madison, Wisconsin really the place you want to live? I mean, sure, our city is clean, biker friendly, quiet, peaceful, yada yada yada. But what about the things they don't tell you? I mean, it can't all be sunshine and rainbows like those pesky community-loving realtors always tell you. Now, as one of those my city is the best realtors myself, I'm actually going to switch it up today. I'm going to be telling you guys the things that Madison falls short on, and I mean really, really falls short on. No, Madison is not perfect, and I'm about to explain why that is. Please subscribe, comment, like, and do all the things that make YouTube happy with me, and here we go. So, starting off on this video, the first thing that came to my mind was, as far as things that I hate about Madison, or that people commonly say they don't like about Madison, is the Dane County Regional Airport. Now, there are some good things about it. It's small, you're not gonna run into a ton of people. You might run into a lot of people that you know, but you're not gonna run into a ton of people. It's also really easy to maneuver, really easy to get around. It's not a very confusing airport by any means. But now for the bad. It's so freaking expensive. It was actually ranked, I don't know who did it, I think it was US Best News or something, but they ranked it as the most expensive airport in the whole entire country. I think the average plane ticket costs $500, which is, if you had a family of four, that's getting up there in price. Another thing about the Dane County Regional Airport is emphasis on regional, because it is a small airport, okay? They have about 20 to 25 direct flights only, which is pretty small when it comes to any airport, really. So a lot of people, what they do is they'll actually end up traveling to Milwaukee or Chicago to take a flight to a different destination so that they're not having a connecting flight in between, and they're actually saving money on the plane ticket itself oftentimes. So is it nice that we have an airport in our city? Yes, but it is expensive, and most people just end up going to Milwaukee or Chicago anyway. So you're taking that extra day of travel just to drive down to those cities. Point number 2 about why you shouldn't want to live in Madison. I think one of the biggest problems with Madison is the lack of affordable housing. Now, I've actually been a preacher of how affordable Madison housing is, but that's from a nationwide perspective. If we were to break it down on a state level or even a regional level, Madison is by far one of the more expensive Midwestern cities. From 2023 to 2024, apartment rentals, so a 2-bedroom apartment in 2023 cost a little over $1,250. So even just looking at rentals for a 2-bedroom apartment from 2023 to 2024, the average rental cost in 2023 for a 2-bedroom apartment was $1,254. And then when you fast forward to 2024, that jumped to $1,378, so $1,378, which is about a 10% increase in rental prices just from the last year. This increase from 2023 to 2024 makes Madison one of the highest areas of rental income increases in the entire nation. And although it is improving, Madison is still feeling the effects of low inventory and high demand with the growing population. In 2023, Madison's median home values were around $417,000, and just through 2024, and I'm recording this in September, so through September of 2024, they're up to $450,000. So I think one of the biggest issues when it does come to Madison is that they are doing good things as far as trying to build apartments to combat the growing population. They're trying to build new housing when it comes to the growing population of home buyers. However, these apartments oftentimes are above the average rent that 2-bedroom apartments go for in Madison, whether it's due to location or high building costs. And then on the flip side of a home buyer trying to buy a new construction home, they're looking at a minimum of $400,000. And let me tell you a little secret, that $400,000 home often has little to no yard, or it's even half side of a duplex. You know, that half side of the duplex could be great for a couple people, some people, but I'd say the majority of people would much rather have a somewhat of a yard or their own private residence at $400,000. The third thing about Madison and why you may not want to live here is the winter weather. It's an obvious saying, but when you think of Wisconsin, you think of 3 things: beer, cheese, and cold weather, and you're not really that far off. There's no getting around it. The winters suck. They're cloudy, they're cold, gets dark at 4:30 p.m., which is honestly the worst part about winter. Also, with winter weather comes more accidents, more car accidents. People don't know how to drive when it's icy conditions, or they feel like their car is better than yours and they try to go fast and they end up slipping. Yeah, that happens quite a lot. And if there's any sort of severe blizzard, you're most likely stuck inside your house for pretty much the entire day until that blizzard stops or that snow melts, but it's actually never going to melt until it's spring. So you have to get out there, shovel. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour to shovel or snow plow. And then the snow that does actually melt from cars running over it or whatever the case may be, it turns into this nasty slush that your kid decides to jump through and ruins all their Uggs. Like it's gross. It's ugh. But the silver lining to bad winters is great summers and falls. Yes, we have mosquitoes here, which kind of suck in the summer, but fall is by far the best in Wisconsin. It's the greatest season, and it just sucks we only have 2 or 3 months of it. When looking to move to Madison or maybe another cold weather area, just keep in mind that a lot of places in the country don't really have like this perfect climate year round. So you're either gonna be stuck with cold winters or super hot blistering summers where it's not fun to go outside either. So, you know, just kind of pick your poison. Would you rather deal with 6 months of frigid temperatures or 6 months of blistering heat when you jump in the car and your whole skin is fried because the seats inside are 120, 130 degrees? I'll take the winter, but I'll leave that up to you guys. The fourth reason not to move to Madison, Wisconsin is the political landscape. Uh-oh, politics. Red alert, red alert, red alert. I hate politics so much. This is my least favorite topic. If we had to sit down in a bar, I would never talk politics with you because I hate politics. I feel more passionate about hating politics than any sort of political issue, and I feel like that's kind of the MO you have to come in if you're gonna be living in Madison. If you didn't know, Madison, Wisconsin is the capital of Wisconsin, so a ton of local and statewide decisions that are very important get made right downtown at the state capitol building. So there's definitely varying opinions that come from that. You'll see protesters sometimes outside of the state capitol just because it is a very lively political environment, especially downtown. There's no question that Madison leans very blue because, you know, we are a young college town, so the average age of the city is lower than a lot of areas, and then also just like with it being a big city, a lot of big cities also lean blue as well. So depending on which way of the political landscape you fall under, you may love it here or you may absolutely hate it here. I think it goes without saying which of your beliefs you'd find yourself under that umbrella. Personally, I stay so far away from politics and I take a laissez-faire approach, like just whatever it is type of thing when it comes to politics, that it really doesn't affect me. I absolutely love living here. I could care less really what my next door neighbor's doing as long as it's not directly affecting me. I don't really care. You know, you can believe whatever you want to believe. And if you are someone that has a ton of passion for politics and it's the opposite political spectrum, you know what? That's okay. You could maybe make it in Madison, but you may just want to look somewhere else because it gets pretty political here sometimes. Fifth and final point is to hopefully not burst anyone's bubble or come as a surprise, but Madison is not a big city. You know, if you're growing up in a small town of Wisconsin or a small town in the Midwest and you come to Madison, it may feel big at first, but it's nowhere near a Milwaukee, Chicago, and Milwaukee's not even big either. But you know, the cities that are super big with skyscrapers and all that sort of thing, Madison has a very small, like, hometown feel in a way, which is what I absolutely love about it. But if you are looking for a city with these huge skyscrapers, it's not going to be in Madison. Madison actually has a law, and it's an actual law that restricts how tall buildings can be, and I believe it's like 14 stories. But what that law is there to do is to really hold up the integrity of the skyline of Madison so that the beautiful architectural Madison State Capitol is a centerpiece of the skyline. So when you're looking across the skyline, you see that all the time, which I absolutely love. I think it's super cool. Madison is also not a big city when it comes to public transportation. Now, we are actually improving our public transportation system very soon. I think next week we're implementing or rolling out a new BRT system, a bus rapid transit system. And honestly, there's some mixed emotions, mixed feelings about that system. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how the community reacts to this new bus system. But the design of it is to make a faster, easier to use bus system that gets you from point A to point B easier. But there's also some cons from that as well. But do your own research on that, and we'll probably know more by next year once it's actually been implemented a little bit. But to say that our public transportation will ever be on the same level as a Chicago or New York, it's never gonna happen. You're probably only gonna get the bus system here, and that's about it. Those are 5 of the main reasons that I came up with that I could think of that you may not want to end up living in Madison. This video was designed to have a different perspective on it. Obviously, I love Madison. I wouldn't be living here if I didn't love it, but I wanted to show the other side because it's not for everybody and everyone's gonna value things differently. So I want to make sure that you're kind of informed on what to expect, the good, the bad, everything in between. And if you live in Madison currently, what are some other things that I left out that also aren't up to par for Madison? And the comments don't all have to be negative. If there's things in Madison and you live in Madison currently that you absolutely love and it makes you feel like Madison's a home because of it, feel free to comment it below because I'd love to hear that side of it as well. All right, that's all guys. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know if I can, no ads here. I'm not sponsored, but drinking one of these drinks, I think it might be Wisconsin based. Maybe not. Yep, this is Wisconsin based. So no, not sponsored, but Bubbler, you can sponsor me. Have a good one guys. See you guys in the next video.